Meanwhile, Ultra Magnus is tracking down Swindle. Again, they say this is a meanwhile here, but they've got the chronology completely wrong. Seriously, this is horrible. They took a story that takes place explicitly like 20 years before the original Infiltration mini starts, and they now say it takes place after Transformers Escalation the way this is worded. So they have Magnus fight with Scorponok. They don't say where he fights Scorponok, which is Nebulos, which isn't that significant, but they ignore the fact that he fights Scorponok and that Scorponok got away, and the reason Scorponok needed to become a headmaster was because he got shot point blank in the head by Magnus, and so he kind of needed the headmaster process to save his own skin. And then they're talking about how Wheelie been stranded for years. When Decepticons attacked, Wheelie's ship was sacrificed, leaving them still stranded. Again, the Wheelie spotlight, there's no determinate point in chronology as to where it takes place. I can kind of accept that, except for the fact that Reflector is in the Wheelie spotlight, and it's really unclear where it takes place because the Reflector trio dies in the Wheelie spotlight, but they're in All Hail Megatron. So really this is saying that they died once and then they came back later on somehow, even though the ship they were in got destroyed. Which, yeah, it doesn't really make that much sense at all. But anyway, they also... Yeah, let's see. Surely deep in a cave, surely he'd be safe here. Which makes me wonder if they're going to bring the Quintessons into this later. Anyway, then they're talking about they're talking about Megatron's victory nearly complete. Lone figure in a secluded Decepticon chamber awakened. First of all, they completely cut Six Shot out of this story. They forgot to mention the fact that Megatron went completely nutso and called in Six Shot to take out Earth, which is important because, well, not just plot-wise, but because it's character-wise for Megatron. The other Decepticons on Earth thought that he was losing his mind at that point, so they decided, let's bring back Starscream to talk some sense into Megatron. And then they talk about Hunter O'Nien getting the battlesuit grafted on him, the headmaster thing, finding out Sunstreaker's fate. Again, they say Skywatch rather than the Machination. Huge, glaring oversight. And let's see, Prime and Co., they crash land the Ark. They return to the field of battle, having barely survived their battles with the Decepticons. Seriously, this is completely lazy. They don't even mention the fact that Prime managed to come back and defeat Megatron back in Escalation, and that Megatron got really pissed because of that and sent in Six Shot with total overkill. They just say, oh yeah, they barely survived their battles and they crash landed their ship. And they also ignored the fact that Optimus Prime decided, Megatron's here, let's call in Hot Rod, Hardhead, and Nightbeat to Earth. They left that out as well. Well, this is completely retarded chronology. Because now they're saying that Grimlock and the Dinobots got excavated. They're talking about this after they already covered Spotlight Grimlock, which chronologically hasn't happened yet. And they're talking about how this is completely retarded chronology right here. And now they're talking about how Magnus... They talk about Magnus here, and then they talk about his mission, and they word this as if Magnus hasn't appeared in the issue yet, so they're assuming that the readers are utter idiots here, which I don't like. And he tracked 2 Decepticons. He's suspected of being involved with Nova Prime and G-Axis. No. Magnus had no clue. Nobody had any clue that Nova and G-Axis were still alive at this point. Magnus was tracking down RC at this particular point in time. And then they mentioned Cyclonus, reached the Negacore, primed it to overload. Okay, fair enough. Nova Prime, along with G-Axis and Galvatron, hatched their plan to release themselves from the prison. Nothing lives, but nothing ever truly dies. So Nova Prime was willing to doom two universes to find their ultimate release. No, he was going to merge the two, but I can kind of accept that. He had the Heart of Darkness. No, that's a book. What Nova Prime had as the source of his power wasn't the Heart of Darkness. It was just the darkness. There's a difference. It's not a book. It's not the name of a book here. Again, I'm going to apologize for fanboyishness here. I just get riled up really easily by this kind of continuity stuff. So anyway, they advanced to prevent the Negatory Corps' demise. Nova Prime sent Galvatron to intercept. Not quite accurate. Optimus Prime charged in the battle with Nova Prime. The result was not as intended. Kind of accurate here. Anyway, G-Axis was doing this. RC killed him. Our escape plan failed. Okay. Although they completely omitted Nightbeat. They completely omitted Gorlin Prime. They completely omitted that whole subplot from the spotlights. Really, so far, this is a half-assed chronology. Anyway, Prime was rescued by Galvatron, who returned to steal Nova Prime's power. Yeah, this is accurate. Galvatron fused with the darkness, thrown into the Negacorps. No, he wasn't thrown into the Negacorps, you morons! He was thrown into just a smelting pool on Garrus 9. That is completely ridiculous. And the knowing too great for any transformer to contain and remain sane, I can kind of buy that, except that Nova had it for some time. Nova was pretty sane, and Prime just tossed him in the Negacorps to beat him because Galvatron was distracted. Coming off a major victory against Nemesis Prime, they returned home. Sunstreaker's whereabouts were unknown? No. Oh yeah, this is still known. Yeah, that's right. But the mystery Shockwave's disappearance, Skywatch had him... No, not quite near. Not quite true. And Skywatch offered Shockwave a deal. Wow, they completely cut Soundwave out of this too. They just neutered Soundwave's storyline. I can kind of acknowledge that, given the fact that Soundwave's storyline is very tangential and doesn't play in all that much. But they still cut him out completely. So, and also, let's see. Wait, what? Elsewhere, Hunter 9 tried to free himself and Sunstreaker from Skywatch's control, but when Sunstreaker was shot through the chest, Hunter appeared to be freed. No. That's not completely accurate at all. Hunter wasn't trapped. That's not true at all. Hunter could have detached anytime he wanted because he's a headmaster. So Grimlock settled his score, Skywatch was destroyed, Hunter was separated from his metallic prison, rejoined his friends. Okay. Sunstreaker would also survive. Grimlock turned himself in along with Shockwave and Scorponok. Rest of the Dinobots were cleared. Yeah, that's accurate. Then after the defeat of those guys, the Autobots found the Earth silent for a year. Megatron reappeared swiftly, crushed all Autobot bases. Now, I'm going to look at the page count here. It looks like half of this book is the stuff before All Hail Megatron. And, well, no, not quite. Sorry. Yeah, I have to take that back. But anyway, they talk about how Megatron did the galaxy-wide assault, crushing defeat on the Autobots, Prime nearly dead, US fell. Then, they forgot the fact that they stranded the Autobots in Cybertron. That's kind of important. Cup hooked up with Jazz and Ironhide's team. And no, it wasn't Jazz and Ironhide's team, it was Jazz and Prowl's team. Again, massive oversight. It was Prowl's team and then Jazz took second commit. Jazz ended up being the de facto leader because Prowl can't take leading people very well. Humans put down a rebellion. Spike went into New York City. They cutted his dad and that whole military assault, which, okay. Suspicions over the traitor, Mirage, chief among the suspects. Cybertron had been overrun with new inhabitants while they'd been away, the Swarm. Okay, I can kind of get that, given that they left out the fact that why the Swarm was there to create the Insecticons, but I can kind of go by this, given we're condensing stuff. Anyway, wait. The sum of all... Yeah, they learned that the Matrix was stolen by Megatron. Okay. They relived their nightmare. Ironhide went after Mirage. Mirage was cleared. And Sunstreaker was the guy who did it. He sacrificed himself. Hunter had been captured. Pain and anguish they anyone will ever known. And Optimus Prime returned. Final battle. Spike killed Megatron. Again, I'm dubious that Megatron's actually dead because they say in the coda that he's on life support. But yeah, okay. Okay. Thundercracker betrayed his brothers. I'm glad that they actually covered that. And a blaster fired into his back by Skywarp. That's not accurate either because Skywarp shot him in the face. It shows in the comic Skywarp just shoots him point blank right in his face.